But we already have 2 players all ready to go in round number 1 of the feature match area. Eric, why don't you let us know what they're going to be playing?
Yeah, we got something spicy for you guys this evening here. We have Alex Ray rocking a Gruul Delirium deck versus Kevin Wang on Selesnya CoCo. So Gruul Delirium, I would expect a lot of stuff like the new cards FOMO, Carnivorous Flytrap, Patchwork Beastie, a lot of the new cards coming out of Duskmourn, while Selesnya CoCo, kind of an older archetype using a lot of what we would traditionally call hate bears, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Supported by the Card Collected Company, trying to bring as many of them out for as cheaply as you can. Trying to lock down your opponent, gain, incremental value, try and basically just kind of outvalue your opponent by doing little things that matter. But let's see. Alex Torch the Towering, the Enduring Innocence, I believe. One of the very easy ways to try and get rid of these enchantment creatures. Very powerful line of cards coming out of Duskmourn here. Normally when you kill them, it comes back as an enchantment and it just gets harder to remove, but that's why some of the exile removal lines up very well into these new cards.
Yeah, so we had the exile effect from Torch the Tower there coming in very clutch, and then we all end up having a Fear of Missing Out popping up on the side of Alex. And as you mentioned, this Delirium deck, a little bit new one to the table. We saw a version of it in Standard, not doing too hot at Worlds this last weekend, but we did wind up seeing this Selesnya CoCo deck kind of break out at the RC in Washington, D.C. for Pioneer very recently, and it is off of the back of cards like this Thalia that Kevin winds up slamming here for this the 2 mana.
Yeah, the Selesnya CoCo list, I think, is as close as we can get to a Death and Taxes list in Pioneer. It's a lot about slowing your opponents down, trying to make them pay extra mana, make them take extra game actions to have to do the same thing while you just, go through, play your 2/2s, just try and hate your opponent out, and eventually you just kind of get there for the win.
And we wind up seeing a cycle here from Alex. That's one of those... oh man, I can't remember what it is. It's the one you enchant a land, you give your creature haste. It's from the old Zenith Flare deck in Standard, but it has cycling 1.
Wait, I just saw this. Is it Tectonic something? It was on a Doomwake video too. God. Yeah, I remember this card.
Oh, that is not the card I was
one.
looking for, but it's just basically going to wind up giving you Delirium a lot faster since it is an enchant land, so that's an enchant that winds up coming down. There's that Patchwork Beastie that you wind up talking about a little bit earlier, Eric, and that's just going to continue to help out with Alex's kind of beatdown plan, but it does require Delirium in order to start swinging.
Yeah, so unfortunately, as we see here, the deck is pretty weak to general graveyard hate, but as long as your opponent's not expecting it, I expect game 1 to kind of go Alex's way a little bit, as long as he's able to get his game plan online. No Flytrap yet, but the creatures on the board right now are pretty powerful for sure.
Yeah, and that Carnivorous Flytrap is going to be the big thing that starts gaining counters and growing a little bit out of control. Second additional combats from that Fear of Missing Out are going to be very powerful. But it looks like Kevin Wang here is going to just start things off with a Skyclave Apparition, going to be taking out the Patchwork Beastie, actually, because the 3/3 is the biggest thing on the board at this point.
Yeah, Beastie being a 1-mana 3/3 is just insane value here. I am a little interested to see how Alex has kind of built his deck, because maybe we should bring up Flytrap now before it actually comes out of the board so we can talk a little bit more about it. But Carnivorous Flytrap, another Omnivorous, sorry.
It doesn't only eat me, it just eats everything.
It does eat everything. As you can see right now, Delirium, when it ETBs or attacks, if there are 4 or more types, you can distribute 2 +1/+1 counters. And if there are 6 or more types, you double the counters after the fact. So I'm a little bit interested to see if Alex has packed his deck full of other types of cards as well, because obviously you have your usual instant sorcery, but now we also have battles that would also function as an additional type to try and get the 6 types online. It's a little bit harder in Pioneer because we don't have tribal, obviously, but there is, I think, 7 official types that he could play.
So we have the enchantment creature, which is that FOMO. We have the artifact creature, which is the Patchwork Beastie. So there's 3 types right there. We wind up having obviously land, instant, sorcery. That gets us to 6 right there. So you kind of need one of everything from Alex's deck in there. If you have a Planeswalker or something, that winds up helping out as well. We saw Traverse the Uvenwald coming in with no Delirium, so it was basically just searching for a basic land. And then we wind up seeing another card coming down here. Yeah, what was that one again?
Well, I don't remember the first part, but it's something Worker Folk.
think it's Wildfire Wicker Folk. That's what it is. And this is yet another dual type card coming out from the creature side. Most importantly, it's a creature, a very powerful 3/2 for 2 with haste is already pretty on par. You're looking at like Bloodbraid Elf stats right there. But then Delirium, it gets +1/+1 and trample as long as you have that. So it becomes a 4/3.
Yeah,
Which is, again, the biggest thing on the battlefield here.
Yeah, two mana for a 4/3 haste trampler seems pretty good.
Yeah, and it looks like Alex does have Delirium as that Wickerfolk winds up swinging him for 4 here, and Kevin just does not want to block with any of these 1 or 2 toughness things on his side. That Thalia does have first strike, and it will be kind of preventing Alex from casting any sort of spells, and we are going to see a second Skyclave Apparition come down here and take out the FOMO, so just continuing to attack the extra combat, the extra resources from Alex's deck, and try to make him play a fair Gruul beatdown play, as now Kevin is going to get a little bit aggressive, swings in for 6 altogether here.
Yeah, looks like Kevin is stabilizing here a little bit. The size of the boards kind of tells you a tale right here. I think I see a breakout. Is that correct?
That's what it looks like here. Looking at the top, I believe 6 at this point. We're going to wind up finding something that Alex needs to kind of come back into this one. Does have to pay the 1 extra for the Thalia attacks.
There's the FOMO. So FOMO coming back out. There's no way to give it haste, I believe, unless does Breakout give haste? Breakout does give haste.
Yeah.
So giving Wickerfolk an extra combat here would be kind of backbreaking, because that would be 8 potential damage coming through.
All right, so we had the draw discard here from Alex, and now since it has haste, it's going to wind up untapping here. And like you said, this is 4 damage from the Wickerfolk, 2 from the FOMO, so that's 6 coming across. And there's another combat step that could happen, and Alex is still alive if Kevin tries to crack back here. There you go. Kevin's design going all the way down to 3, and now Alex just passes the turn. We'll have to see what Kevin can kind of pull off the top of his deck. These pain lands, these brush lands from Kevin have been kind of taking pot shots at his life total this whole game, and now it's kind of starting to add up and come to fruition here for Alex.
Yes, the classic problem of trying to have smooth mana curves in Pioneer. You kind of have to play the pain land and Hamlet base, unfortunately, and going up against the aggro decks, it kind of becomes more painful than not usually.
Yeah. And so we end up having now Kevin thinking about all of his plays he could potentially make right now. I mean, we haven't seen the namesake card from Kevin's deck Collected Company at all, and there's 5 mana on the battlefield besides these 2 elves, so 7 altogether.
Yeah, so let's see what Kevin wants to do here. I think I count 8 power on the board right now if Kevin swings out, but that does make him dead to the crackback. So I am a little bit curious what the last remaining card in his hand is.
And we do have a creature land here, too, the Restless Selesnya land.
Yeah, the one that's not played.
Now, Restless Prairie, that's what it is. So that would be a 3/3, and then when it attacks, other creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn.
Wait, that's kind of sick,
right?
Yeah, that's an Anthem effect. Although Alex did leave open mana, so it makes me think there might be a Torch to the Tower in hand, which I think might take this back, because if he's able to torch one of the Skyclaves before combat, he would get an additional blocker there and then try and stay alive, because it doesn't seem like Kevin has anything. Oh no, scooping it up.
All right, Restless Prairie just being enough as an Anthem effect on that board, and Kevin Wang is going to be taking that game from a board state where it looked like he was the one on the back foot.
Restless Prairie, I'll never say anything bad about you ever again. Oh man, I feel like this has been happening to me a lot recently. I'm like, oh, Razorgrass Ambush, it's such a bad dual face card, I'll never play it, and then wins me a top 8 match, and I'm like, I'll never say anything bad about it again.
I mean, that's just kind of the thing that winds up happening with this Collected Company deck is this kind of, as you mentioned, it's the closest thing to like a Hate Bears list we have in Pioneer. However, it takes its kind of origins from the Selesnya CoCo list that were in Modern, and one of those cards that those Modern decks had was Gabony Township, and Gabony Township won games way too often.
That is true. Yeah, having something else to do with your mana, like we say in this case, like Restless Prairie, you know, very unassuming, all of a sudden coming in for lethal, right? We did not expect that, but it was just kind of like the difference needed to clinch the win there, because without it, I think Kevin was actually dead in the water.
Yeah, there was no way for Kevin to deal the additional damage that they needed to in order to kind of come back and win that game. So that was just a very powerful sort of turn coming out here. So that was just something that Kevin was able to kind of pull out, and Alex just maybe bluffing the removal spell, maybe just not seeing the Restless Prairie like we did. But as we're going into sideboards here, we do wind up having Alex's list. So it is a little bit more of an aggressive style list. It's just the fact that Alex's deck is not going up super, super large. He's really relying on this Omnivorous Flytrap. He has a couple of FOMOs, but the big kind of synergy that we're going to wind up seeing here is going to be the Omnivorous Flytrap and Inti Seneschal of the Sun in order to discard a card, exile the top card to potentially play it, put a counter on something most importantly, and then we start doubling and having ridiculous effects with that fly trap.
Yeah, NT I think is really insane in this list because it just doubles up your 2-drop slot of having something to try and help you reach Delirium faster. So if you're able to curve, turn 1 Patchwork Beastie, turn 2 into either FOMO or NT, that would just help out a lot, I think. Try and get online as fast as you can. Honestly, if you can go Beastie, NT, Flytrap. I don't think there's a deck in the format right now that can keep up with that.
Yeah, and from the side of Alex, we have a bit of a sideboard tech play here. This is the Giganta deck, so we're not going to have any sort of dual mana kind of pips in the main deck or in the sideboard, but we do have a couple of ways to get a little bit bigger than what the CoCo deck is doing. Now, one of the downsides, as we know, with the Selesnya CoCo deck is nothing is larger than 3 converted mana cost because you want the whole deck to be hit by your CoCo. So you have a lot of disruptive elements, but you don't have things that are potentially going to be bigger than Miglaw's Maze Crusher or Hazret the Fervent, which are coming out from Alex's sideboard.
Yeah, definitely. There's some interesting cards that could come in here. Rending Volleys might be pretty good to hit some of the white cards, although it will depend on how Kevin's list is slanted. Is it primarily green? Is it just splashing white a little bit? I think that remains to be seen, but I do think while Alex isn't sure, it might be worth bringing in even if it's just to hit the Thalia.
And one of the things that we may wind up seeing from Kevin's deck is potentially things like Cutzel's Flanker, which would be able to exile Alex's graveyard and kind of shut down the main game plan as we move here into game number 2. We'll have to see if those players have taken that sort of sideboard advice, and we'll have to see if Kevin actually plays his namesake card, the Collected Company.
Yeah, I'd really love to see it here. Oh, Seed of Hope coming out from Alex here. I believe it's... There we go.
Yeah, this is Alex's deck is basically like, hey, you remember like Greasefang combo? What if like we had 4 creatures and just attacked you instead of trying to put like a Parhelion in play? All these cards that I'm looking at that are putting cards into Alex's graveyard are something that I've played at some point in time alongside the card Greasefang.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, there's a FOMO coming out nice and early for Alex here. Discarding a Wicker Folk, so... Artifact creature lands instant. I believe that is Delirium here.
Yeah, that's 100% Delirium. So this FOMO is potentially attacking just for 4 in and of itself on turn 3.
Oh.
Not to mention if there's another hasty Wickerfoe coming down alongside it.
Oh no, unlicensed Hearse.
Ooh. All right, well that's not CoCoable, but it is still very bad for Alex's deck.
Yeah, the premier colorless graveyard hate of the format. I was thinking it was going to be Rest in Peace, but nope. Unlicensed Hearse coming in as a big bad. 3 mana. Oh, there we go. Flytrap coming in. Kevin has to try and Hearse here, I believe, because otherwise the ETB on Flytrap is going to activate. Oh, yep. Kevin does eat 2 things here. Losing 3 types for Alex here. Very devastating, but, still having a board state cracking him for damage might just get him there. Because if Kevin's too focused on trying to, off-tempo Alex, try and push him off his game plan, you could just get in as Gruul Dumb Beaters, and that's fine too.
Exactly, and I mean, at some point, if Alex is able to swarm the board and put an Inti into play and start growing things organically rather than relying on the Delirium synergy, that's just one way that it can completely run over those small toughness creatures from Kevin's side, which don't exist yet. We don't have any creatures there, and we do wind up having double white and brush lands again, so Kevin is going to potentially be pinging himself for a lot of life here, but there's just the Enduring card again, so we're going to have Enduring Innocence pop down. It is a 2-1 with life link, and unless Alex has that Torch the Tower as an answer, it might stick around and start giving Kevin Wang a little bit of value.
Yeah, and the important part is Enduring Innocence is big enough to crew this unlicensed Hearse, so Alex does have to be a little bit careful here. because it does enable Kevin to do some interesting things on the block, like, crew the hearse, go for blocks, and then also go ahead and eat some more stuff out of Kevin's graveyard, or Alex's graveyard, to try and grow the hearse and blow something out. So, but what is that? Is that breakout?
I think that's just another breakout coming in here for Alex. So he's going to be looking at the top cards of his library, trying to find something 2 or less, putting it into hand, and it looks like... Was that a miss?
I think he whiffed.
Oh, no. This is the turn that Alex really wanted to try to take over, but he does still have a land drop, and I think I saw an Inti in hand, so he could still potentially wind up getting a trigger here from Inti, exiling something up the... Oh, second breakout. All right, Alex says, I can't miss twice, right?
Surely. Oh, I see a FOMO.
I see a FOMO. I see a, what is... I had the name of that card all pulled up and everything. I saw the football crater. That's what it was.
There we go. I was like, it was something Earth related.
Yeah, but it does look like we are, since it is breakout, it's creature related, we are going to wind up hitting this FOMO. Now we have double FOMO.
Sorcery.
Oh, we discarded the Inti.
Oh. Discard Inti here is a little bit awkward, but... I mean, yeah, Kevin, if he sees the line here, he's able to block and probably kill this Flytrap here.
Yeah, Flytrap only a 2/4. We are going to
Yeah.
wind up crewing. There we go.
Oh, going for the FOMO.
All right, so we're going to get rid of one of the FOMOs. The Flytrap doesn't do anything if we can keep Delirium in check, right? So we are going to be growing this hearse to a 4/4, killing off one of the FOMOs. Then we're going to have... We still only have 3 card types in Alex's graveyard: sorcery, creature, enchantment from the FOMO, and we only wind up taking 4 from Kevin's side. And I think I saw a CoCo in Kevin's hand as well. So there's a land, there's a CoCo, and if Alex doesn't have a way to remove this Enduring Innocence or this Unlicensed Hearse, it's going to be pretty painful for him in the future.
Yeah, this is unfortunately slanting one way real fast. Alex being kept off balance a little bit. I don't know if he has any way to deal with that unlicensed hearse right now.
We're just going to get main phase Collected Company here while Alex is all tapped out. We're going to look at the top 6, and we're going to wind up doing something very similar to Breakout, but we can find 2 of them and put them into play.
Check out my better breakout.
Oh, we get another Enduring Innocence and a Llanowar Elf. Those are going to both trigger. That's going to be a lot of card draw here.
Yep.
So draw 1, draw 2.
Should. Innocence doesn't trigger on itself.
I mean, the Enduring Innocence has to be in play for it to
Yeah.
trigger, so we are only going to get 2 draws, but any follow-up creature is going to do the exact same thing.
I know. The insane value Enduring Innocence has gotten. Honestly, all the enduring enchantment cards, I think among them, Innocence and Curiosity are probably among the best ones.
Yeah, what is the black one again? I don't know. It looks like a snake.
Not Vitality. Tenacity, I think.
I don't know. It's a snake.
Yeah, but it's the gain life drain your opponent one.
Yeah, that one I'm a little sad about, but
Yeah. I think it's great in Commander, but unfortunately
definitely.
doesn't have a home right now in constructed play.
Oh, all right. That Rending Volley does wind up coming into play here. That's going to take out one of the enchantment creatures, so it comes back as an enchantment, and Kevin's going to help us out here in the caster room by turning the enchantment version upside down, so we know that that is not a creature. Breakout number 3.
Breakout
All
number-
right.
Oh my god.
I
Oh,
see an Inti.
it should be an NT kind of turn, I think.
All
There we
right.
go.
Downside is, though, is we don't wind up having any cards to discard to this Inti trigger.
Yeah, things are definitely not looking very good for Alex. He also cannot attack in kind of willy-nilly here because of the unlicensors. Oh,
We have instant sorcery creature enchantment. So currently we have Delirium, so we do have to make Kevin tap this unlicensed hearse before combat is declared. So this
Yeah.
does give Alex an opportunity to potentially swing in with a 2/4.
because what's on Kevin's board? I don't know what the green shiny
It's
thing
just
is. It's an
Llanowar Elf. Oh
Okay.
yeah, this is a great Llanowar Elf art. So I'm gonna have to pull that one up. But yeah, Alex is just gonna be able to swing in for 4 here, potentially looking at just taking a little bit of chip damage in there. Can't trigger the Inti, but still gonna get just a little bit of damage because Kevin is on 12. There's a life linking Enduring Innocence, however, so could potentially trade off, gain a little bit of life. You know what? I'm gonna get this one. I know the foil one was right next to it, but I think this one's a little more tilting.
Yeah. Oh, so trading right here the Innocence with Inti.
So altogether, take 2, go down to 10 from Kevin's side. Not entirely sure I like trading the Inti there. I'm thinking that Inti wants to survive and maybe just offer up the trade with the FOMO, because with that unlicensed on the battlefield, no cards in hand, FOMO's just 2 damage.
Yeah, and I really think that's a little bit of a mistake on Alex's part. I would have even gone as far as to say only swing in with Flytrap that turn. That way you don't lose into, you don't lose FOMO to a double block. Flytrap can attack him pretty safely even if Kevin decided to double block there.
I think I'm okay with maybe the double block and forcing the Land of War Elves to get off the table. I mean, that does wind up
true as well.
stretching the mana a little bit, maybe just getting things off the battlefield. But Skyclave Apparition is going to wind up coming down here, so Kevin is going to not only draw 2 off of the Skyclave Apparition coming into play, but it's also going to get rid of the Flytrap entirely.
This is not good for Alex here.
Oh, man, see, if you forced that double block, you wouldn't have taken 1 damage from that Land Aura.
That's true. That's true.
All right, big draw here from Alex. Is it breakout number 4? Is it something else that we can wind up getting a little bit of value back with? I mean, Traverse the Openwald is not necessarily a tutor at this point because we don't have Delirium. It's 2 mana. It's a Scarecrow. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so Wicker Folk is just a 3/2 with haste. This Delirium is pretty much offline.
Yeah, unfortunately for Alex, I think what would be his best draws here? Obviously, something to get rid of unlicensed hearse would be pretty sweet, but I don't even know what the options are for that one.
I mean, getting rid of unlicensed hearse while you're on no cards in hand, it's going to be really hard to gather up your Delirium and everything. I'm thinking at this point, like, Haywire might have come in from the sideboard. That's one way to get rid of it. But I'm thinking right now, if you have, like, Miglaws or Hazoret in your deck, that's what you want right now. Hazoret is a 5/4 indestructible beater with no cards in hand from Alex's side, and could eventually win the game by just discarding cards from hand.
Yeah, Hazoret will be insane here.
We have
another Flytrap coming in.
Yeah, a second Flytrap comes in. We have Thalia, and we're paying 5 for Collected Company off of that Thalia tax. Let's look at the top 6. We're going to find 2 of them from Kevin's side. They're going to wind up coming into play. What kind of goodies do we have here? We have a Land War Elf, and that's it.
Hey, draw 2 still pretty good.
All right, we get a redraw. Ooh, Dramoka's Command. That's a fun card.
Ooh,
I just saw that one on some old school 2016 coverage.
I know, right? Haven't seen that one in a hot second. I think among the original Dragons commands, you really only see a Tarkus command at this point, huh?
Obviously, Kolaghan's Command.
Well, there's
I see a lot of Kolaghan's Command because it's in my deck box.
That's true.
All right, we are just going to wind up having untapping here from Kevin. 3 mana, potentially signaling another Skyclave Apparition or Elite Spellbinder. That's a pretty powerful card here. There's no cards in Alex's hand to kind of get the extra effect from, but Spellbinder is just a 3-power flyer that will potentially threaten to race anything Alex does.
Yeah, Spellbinder, another very good card out of this Hate Bear style list, trying to off-tempo your opponent, you know. It's not quite Thoughtseize, but it's like, hey, you know this card you wanted? Wait 2 turns, idiot.
All right, we got an Elvish Mystic. That's going to draw us 2 more cards off of that. And I think
there's another Skyclave in hand now.
And I think I see an Archon as well.
Yeah,
that
Archon
Archon would
Mirror,
just
yeah.
slow things down way too much for Alex at this point. And it looks like Kevin just has a wealth of riches here because we have these double Enduring Innocences, drawing a bunch of cards, tons of mana, tons of elves, and there's the Archon coming down. So now Alex is just on 1 spell a turn.
Oh boy. 1 spell. Oh,
Seed of Hope.
Seed of Hope. Mill 2. Flytrap. Miglaws. Miglaws into hand.
All right, but we
Can't
cast
the Miglaws. Wait. Illegal.
Ooh, I'm going to have to let them know about that.
Yep. Go, Tom, go. Meanwhile, while Tom's fixing that, I'm going to entertain you guys with something. But yeah, Archon of Amir does mean that that Miglaws cannot come out this turn. And unfortunately, I do think Kevin can probably swing him pretty safely at this point. That unlicensed hearse is going to be a 12 now. He has at least 5 power flying in the air. If he wants to just drag this out and crack in for 5 every turn, that's possible too. But
I mean, that is a 5-turn clock at this point. I mean, Alex is at 21 because of that Seed of Hope. Can't cast the Miglaws, but can get that 2 life from the Seed of Hope. We're just going to wind up swinging him for 5, like you said, Eric.
let's see. Yeah, Miglaws coming in would be pretty awesome, I believe. It is kind of a slow way now to try and destroy unlicensers, but you know, you'll take what you can get, right?
I mean, we can destroy unlicensers. We can't get more oil counters on it to then destroy an enduring innocence. But I think the enduring innocences are just too far gone at this point.
Yeah.
Just Miglaws is maybe coming a couple turns
Oh
too late.
no, Spellbinder. Miglaws now costing 5.
Well, we have 5 mana, so we can still cast Miglaws, and we can't do
Yeah.
anything with the Miglaws activation.
Yeah, the problem was I was thinking like, oh, if Alex top deck a land like he just did, he would build the Miglaws and then also activate in the same turn, but the might be too slow at this point, unfortunately.
Right, but now we have what? We have 2 8 damage in the air now?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking Kevin can swing out pretty safely and just kill Alex this turn, but nope. Going in for the slow and steady death by 1,000 cuts.
I mean, at this point, this is just a 2-turn clock, so it's the difference between potentially messing up this turn and, oh, we have another Skyclave Apparition off of all those draws, and that's going to clear out the Miglaws, and that's going to clear out any way for Alex to come back in this game. That's going to be game number 2 and the match going to Kevin Wang. Selesnya CoCo gets it done over the Gruul Delirium deck.